is finally here. The Caitlin Clark logo.
And now for the moment many people have been waiting for. Caitlin Clark has dropped her signature logo for her product line.
Stop what you're doing, because women's basketball just had its Michael Jordan moment. On August 26, 2025, Caitlin Clark, the face of a new WNBA era, just signed her name into sneaker history. Nike has officially made her a signature athlete, not just another endorsement, not just another jersey drop. We're talking about her own logo, her own shoe, her own brand. Think about that. For decades, signature shoe was a phrase reserved for legends like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. On the women's side, it's been rare air. But now, Caitlin Clark, the same kid from Iowa who broke every scoring record in sight, is stepping into that same rarefied space. This is bigger than basketball. It's a shift in culture. It's the kind of announcement that makes you stop scrolling, stop channel surfing, and realize we are witnessing history right now.
Because finally, Nike has unveiled the signature CC logo, which features 2 C's. Caitlin Clark, of course, her name. I've joked about this situation for a while when people wonder what was going on with Nike, and I just can't imagine they would sign her to the deal that they did. And then
in this video, we're breaking down exactly what Caitlin Clark's Nike deal means for her, for the WNBA, and honestly, for sports as a whole. We'll compare it to Michael Jordan's groundbreaking Nike deal in the 80s, dig into how Caitlin's rise has mirrored his cultural takeover, and ask the tough question, can Caitlin Clark truly become the Jordan of women's basketball? We'll also look at what this means for the Indiana Fever, the WNBA's explosive growth, and how sneaker culture might be about to change forever. But before we dive in, let's settle this right now. Do you think Caitlin Clark's Nike deal is the Air Jordan moment for women's basketball? Or is that comparison way too soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And if you love women's hoops as much as we do here at Her Hoops, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started.
Here is Caitlin Clark's official Nike signature logo. There is a statement that says, Caitlin's signature logo pulls you in like her game. It features interlocking C's. Her mark is emblematic of ever-expanding range on the court.
To really understand how massive this moment is, we've got to rewind. Caitlin Clark didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Her rise has been a 4-year storm that changed the landscape of basketball at every level. At Iowa, she wasn't just putting up numbers. She was putting up video game stat lines. We're talking deep threes from the logo, back-to-back 40-point tournament games, and breaking the NCAA all-time scoring record, not just for women, but for anyone. The ratings? Off the charts. Every time Clark played, networks cleared space. ESPN was breaking viewership records for women's hoops because of her. Iowa's Final Four runs were treated like national events.
But Caitlin Clark makes the announcement, says that the signature line is on the way in 2026. The logo is out. Apparently the t-shirts are about to drop. They look pretty good too. You got that, Indiana Fever theme going on with those. The colors. See something she wears at practice.
Fast forward to the 2024 WNBA draft. The Indiana Fever didn't just get a player, they got a franchise revival. Tickets sold out. Merchandise flew off shelves. The WNBA had to move games into bigger arenas, all because Caitlin Clark was coming to town. Nike saw this coming. They'd already signed her to an NIL deal back in college. But this, a signature line, that's the crown jewel. Because signature shoes are about more than performance. They're about culture. They're about storytelling.
Apparently the t-shirt is coming out October the 1st, and the rumor is signature product dropping 2026. So the signature shoe is dropping in 2026. It'd be interesting when it is. If they time with the NBA or the WNBA season, I would assume they'll probably they'll time it with the WNBA season, because it wouldn't make sense to release it in late 2026.
And the last time we saw a story this big start with Nike, it was 1984. A rookie named Michael Jordan. And just like with Jordan, Nike isn't betting on where Caitlin is now. They're betting on what she's about to become. Here's the real question. Is Caitlin Clark ready to carry all of this? Because when Nike gives you a signature shoe, they're not just giving you sneakers. They're giving you the weight of an entire movement. Think about it. Michael Jordan's deal in 1984 wasn't a safe bet. The NBA literally banned the Air Jordan Jordan won because of its colors, and Nike leaned into it with the Banned campaign. That risk turned Jordan into a cultural rebel, and his sneakers into a billion-dollar empire. Now Caitlin Clark is walking into that same spotlight, but with a twist. The WNBA doesn't have the same global infrastructure the NBA had in the 80s. Women's basketball is growing fast, but it still doesn't have the massive established sneaker buying culture that the men's game does. That's the gamble. Can Caitlin sell not just jerseys and tickets, but shoes? Can she spark the kind of movement that makes people line up outside stores at midnight, waiting for that next drop? Because here's the thing, Caitlin isn't just competing against history, she's competing against the modern sports market, where attention is fractured, sneaker culture is saturated, and every brand is chasing the next viral moment. Nike is betting that Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player, they're betting she's a once-in-a-generation brand. And if she doesn't deliver, the ripple effects could change the future of women's sports endorsements forever.
I saw someone comment how right in the middle right there, it's like kind of like a snake eye, very like Mamba mentality. But regardless about how anybody feels about it, the second these things drop, they are going to fly off the shelves.
So let's be clear, this isn't just about one athlete and one shoe. The stakes here are massive. If Caitlin Clark's Nike line takes off, we could see a revolution in women's sports marketing. Think about how many young hoopers will grow up rocking her sneakers. Think about every AAU tournament, every high school gym, every driveway. You see kids lacing up Clark 1s the way kids used to lace up Air Jordans. That visibility changes the pipeline. It normalizes women as the face of billion-dollar brands. It forces other companies, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, to put the same kind of money and marketing power into their women's athletes. But if it flops, if the sales aren't there, if sneakerheads don't buy in, if kids don't line up, the narrative becomes, see, women's shoes just don't sell. And that sets women's sports marketing back years. This has happened before. Remember Sheryl Swoops? She was the first WNBA player with a signature shoe back in the late 90s, the Nike Air Swoops. Groundbreaking. But the WNBA was still in its infancy. The marketing muscle wasn't there, and the shoe never hit the mainstream. Compare that to Jordan. His first release, Nike projected maybe $3 million in sales in 4 years. Instead, Air Jordans did $126 million in the first year alone. That explosion created sneaker culture as we know it.
Not eventually have some big product on the way, and of course she is part of the partnership as well. Perhaps she could have been promoted more in the meantime, but regardless, she's so popular, all you got to do is drop a link. And all it took was for her to take to social media to make this announcement, for everybody to go into a frenzy.
Caitlin is in that same make or break moment. If her line succeeds, it's not just her legacy, it's the WNBA's credibility, Nike's reputation, and the entire business model of women's sports endorsements leveling up. But remember, Caitlin Clark isn't entering this fight alone. The rivals, they're everywhere. And that's where things get really interesting. Because here's the truth. Caitlin Clark isn't stepping into an empty arena. She's stepping into a sneaker war. Let's start with the WNBA. She's not the first to get a signature shoe in this new era. Breanna Stewart has her line with Puma. Sabrina Ionescu has the Nike Sabrina 1s. A'ja Wilson has openly pushed for more recognition and is rumored to be on the verge of her own signature deal. So the pressure's on Caitlin to not just be another name on the list, but the one who moves the needle. If her sneakers outsell the Sabrina line, Nike doubles down. If they don't, questions start flying about whether the hype is justified. And then there's the global sneaker game. On the men's side, you've got Luka Doncic with Jordan Brand, Ja Morant with Nike, LaMelo Ball with Puma, even Scoot Henderson signing early with Puma too. That's a lot of young talent fighting for sneakerhead dollars. For Caitlin, the opportunity is unique. She can carve her own lane. Her audience is different. Her brand isn't about dunk contests or mixtape highlights. It's about logo threes, cold-blooded scoring, and being a generational phenomenon in women's hoops. But here's the flip side. Nike didn't have to go this route. They could have let Caitlin ride the wave of their standard athlete contracts, just like Kevin Durant or Giannis before they got signatures. Or Caitlin could have jumped ship. Imagine Adidas throwing a bag at her to make her the face of their women's line. Or Puma trying to build a super team with Stewie and Caitlin together. Nike made their choice, and now Caitlin Clark is their flagship. But with that choice comes another layer, because while the rivals on the court are tough, the real tension might be inside Caitlin's own locker room. Because let's be honest, when one player becomes the face of a franchise, and now the face of Nike, that changes the vibe. Inside the Indiana Fever locker room, Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie anymore. She's the million-dollar superstar with her own signature shoe deal before some of her teammates even have stable endorsement contracts. That can create tension. We've already seen glimpses of it on the court. Veterans testing her, opponents going at her harder than anyone else. Now, add in the spotlight, the cameras, the marketing machine that follows her everywhere, it can get heavy. For younger players, Caitlin is inspiration. She's proof that women's basketball can break barriers. For veterans, it's more complicated. Some might feel like, I've been grinding in this league for years. Why didn't I get that kind of push?
And whatnot. And it'd be nice to see Caitlin Clark play basketball again, wouldn't it? And I also like the sort of little slogan that they threw out there. I don't know if everybody saw that. Her logo is good from anywhere. That's hard. That's tough.
And let's not forget, this isn't just about money. Signature shoes change perception. They cement who the league is selling to the public. The Indiana Fever aren't just playing basketball anymore. They're playing on the Caitlin Clark stage every night. The question is, can she balance it? Can she handle the responsibility of being a good teammate while also being the league's chosen superstar? Because if she can't, we might see cracks that no sneaker campaign can hide. So what happens next? Let's play this out. Best case scenario, Caitlin Clark's Nike line explodes. The Clark 1s become the shoe every young player wants. Her highlights flood social media. The Fever rise with her, and suddenly the WNBA has its first true crossover global superstar. This is the Air Jordan moment, where one athlete's shoe literally changes the culture. Worst case, sales fall flat. Nike pulls back. The media starts framing Caitlin as overhyped. The WNBA loses its chance at that breakthrough moment, and instead of elevating women's sneaker culture, the industry gets cautious, saying, see, it doesn't work. Most likely scenario, somewhere in the middle. Caitlin's line does solid numbers. She cements herself as the face of this new WNBA wave, and while maybe it doesn't quite hit Jordan-level hysteria right away, it opens the door. It proves there's a real market, and it gives the next generation, players like Juju Watkins or Paige Beckers, the platform to take it even further. Either way, one thing's certain, the game will not be the same after this. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. Where do you think this story goes from here? So here we are, Caitlin Clark, Nike, and a sneaker deal that could either redefine women's sports or become one of the biggest what-ifs in basketball history. We've seen this movie before with Michael Jordan, but this time, the stage is different, the stakes are higher, and the spotlight is brighter. So I want to hear from you. Is this Caitlin Clark's true Air Jordan moment, the spark that launches women's basketball into a new era of sneaker culture? Or are we putting way too much pressure on one player to carry the weight of an entire movement? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be in there with you, debating every angle. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Her Hoops, and hit that notification bell, because this is just the beginning of a conversation we'll be having all season long. History's being written right in front of us. The only question is, what chapter does Caitlin Clark's name get remembered for?